So I've been going uphill with £45 per nice breeze though up here. So Neil has just come up through that footpath that just comes over there, sorry, out of focused. He's got just his coat on his back. He's got nothing else, not even his hiking poles. You don't need hiking poles for this path. It's easy going, especially if you're not carrying a pack. Look at the views. Now, the morning of the 9th, the weather changed. Up to then, they were getting 17 and 18 degree temperatures with some nice sunshine, broken cloud, very much like today. How do I know that? Because I've got weather charts. I have to thank someone that helped me, but I don't want to put his name up. He might know what his name put up, but I'll thank the guy that has been contacting me and been helping me out with some of the weather data and river data and all this. So between me and him, we've been communicating about this weather change on the 9th, and that's when Neil went missing, the 9th of May. At 6 o'clock in the morning, this area turned into not a monsoon, it was just heavy continuous rain all morning. It went on most of the day, to be honest. And the weather after that for the next 3 or 4 days was bad as well, but not as bad as the 9th. Again, I've got the weather data, the flow charts of rivers. I've got Facebook posts of people that are on the West Highland Way, which is just over the other side of these Munros, mountains, whatever you like to call them. So they're getting the same weather. The weather hit bad in Glasgow the night before, so midnight onwards on the 6th, and travelled up from a southwesterly direction. Now the temperatures change from 17, 18 to 12 degrees at best, but don't forget, once the rain starts hitting and it's coming from a southerly direction, which is over that way, sorry, it's more southwest, south, it's going to be coming over that way, and you're going to get plastered and you're going to get hammered, and it's going to bring the temperatures down. So I would say, even though in the charts it's saying 12, I would say with the wind and the rain, wind speeds were gusty, but nothing crazy. It's not 30, 40 mile an hour winds or anything like that, but it was strong enough to bring your wind chill kicking, you know, with getting soaked. So they're saying 12, but I reckon it'll be nearer 8 degrees with the wind chill, the wet and all that. And don't forget, Neil's got a coat, but it's not really a suitable coat. I believe he was wearing what I saw in previous photos as a drover's coat, more designed. Yes, they're very good for such water and all that, but they ain't got waterproof zips. They ain't got, I don't believe it had a hood. So, you know, the water's going to be pouring down his neck, pouring down his front. You know what I mean? It's not built for that kind of conditions, really. Yeah, you might go walking your dog in the rain for an hour or two, but not out here. So it would have been that morning when Neil went for his walk, it would have still been semi-light, but because of the clouds coming in, it would have been kind of dull, a bit gloomy, probably a bit breezy. Again, he would have felt the cold. He was 72 years of age. He'd been camped at the loch overnight for the last 2 nights, yeah? So he's going to feel the cold mornings. So that kicks in with why he would ramble. That's what he was, a rambler basically at the weekends. But he just like going wandering. Now he ain't going to go, he's not stupid enough. We're all thinking maybe he did this, maybe he did that. He wasn't. He stayed on the track. He was seen on the track on the 8th. So he was staying, doing everything right for his chores and all. He was just sticking to around his area. But on his wander, I believe the reason he went this way on that Monday morning before the weather changed, he probably was setting off here about 5 o'clock. I believe the weather changed here 6, just gone 6, so he would have been well into the walk, but he probably thought it was just a shower or just a bit of rain, but things got worse. But the thing is, he was that day, the Monday the 9th, he was going to go back home, So I believe he made a point of going for a nice wander on this morning because his friends are turned round, so-called turned round, but they were going back on the Monday anyway, I believe. There was no 5 or 6 day. They weren't built to do 5 or 6 days. I've seen the people, not personally, but I've seen them on Facebook and all this. I know the people, what they do, what they get up to. They are equipped to do 5 or 6 days on, you know, multi-day hikes with all gear and everything. They're not into that. And Neil was definitely not, 100% not. And the posters, again, that were put out were showing him with a backpack, very misleading. I don't know if that was intentionally done to kind of combine it with the story, but it's very misleading. The picture I'll put up, and I've put up before, you'll see he looks nothing like what he did in that poster. I'll put a picture of him as it actually looked. One on one side that's been put on a poster, and the one on the other side that's been put on some press reports showing Neil, and that's when he was 60. You know, he was 72. It looks totally different. The picture I'm putting out is taken when he was 70th birthday. He was 2 years older than even the picture I put up. He was not built to do this kind of hiking. Again, it's been confusing. It's been confusing people searching. Right, push on. We've come up from up there, down there, sorry. Valleys to our left. This slope to our right. See these? In heavy rain, that would be pouring down. Strong water coming down from the tops. Pouring down, it leads all the way down, you're cut off. So if you're trying to cross over land there, you're cut off. In between there, you've got ditches here, deep enough to fall in, and there's another one there, and I'm guessing that land where all the water pours down will be very boggy, even now. So remember that, the slopes, heavy drainage coming down. It takes, you know, for a river to go in spate, sorry, I've got zoomed in. A river going spate takes about 2 hours to be 6 foot, some of them. Not all of them, some of them, right? So it shows the kind of rate of water can flow. So after an hour, it'll be flowing down fast from there in heavy rain. But I believe it hasn't started raining yet. I believe Neil's still continuing at a reasonable pace because he's a bit chilly from the morning. He's not racing along because he's probably got that foot playing up still, but he just wants to keep himself warm. He's looking up and he sees the cloud and he's thinking, I hope it don't rain probably, but he doesn't know. And this is the other thing, experienced people would know about weather. Keep an eye on the weather, get up regular updates, do something, know what you're walking into every day. And if you don't know what you're walking into, prepare for it, like I do. And what you never do, never ever do, is leave your tent and go for a 4 or 5 mile hike. Because what you're doing is you're leaving all your gear in your tent that could save your life. And you might be going out on a nice sunny day, but we have heavy rain storms, we have flash flooding, you have everything here. What happens if you get taken ill 4 miles from your tent, vomiting, pooping yourself, and you don't think you can make it another 100 yards? No good if your tent's 4 miles away, is it? You will see me when I do searching, I go up the valleys, but I got personal locator beacons, I've got the Garmin device, I've got 2 devices on me now. You know, I protect myself. I know even if I'm puking and pooping and my dogs are sitting there looking at me, I can press that button and just hope that someone gets to me. But to leave your gear and then go wandering off, even on a day like today, I wouldn't stray no further about a quarter mile round from my tent. I always know where my tent is, I always know where my gear is. If I can't see it visually, I know it's not more than, what, half an hour at the most to walk, at the most. What you don't do is leave all your gear in the tent. It doesn't matter if it's Neil or the most experienced hikers or anything. You can get heat stroke, you could get struck by lightning, you could go down with anything, food poisoning, anything. You know, imagine if you did that at home. It's okay, you can get a taxi, you can get a friend to pick you up, you can crawl to the hospital. You know, there's nothing out here. And this is, I don't class this as remote at all. This is quite, I mean, even though no one's using the track, this is not remote. But it might as well be remote if you leave all your gear. And that goes back to the two friends. You know, remember the two friends said originally that Neil didn't feel well after an hour and a half after they all left the tent on that Saturday morning. And then Neil decided to turn back. Now, right, you've got two friends with you, right? And you say, my leg's hurting, I got a headache, whatever you say, whatever it is. My fingers give me low stick. Are your two friends going to say, yeah, no problem, go back. Go walk another 4 miles. How do they know you get back? How would they know you make it wherever you said you were going to go? What happens if you collapse? They're all having a jolly. You know what I mean? I'm not being rude, but it's being honest, isn't it? You don't leave. What would you do? I would never say to anyone that's poorly, yeah, no problem. Even if you force me by gunpoint and say, go, I'll say, no, I'm not leaving you. How do I know you're going to get back there? You know, silly things people do sometimes just don't make sense. If you come in as a three, you go out as a three. If one of you goes ill, you stay together. It's just so maddening. It's so stupid. These things could be prevented so many times from happening, but people just don't use a bit of common sense. And it's okay saying, well, but look, it's costing, this last few weeks, there's been sadly a few lives lost. Probably simple mistakes people made, errors of judgment. It's all human error 9 times out of 10. You don't hear, very rare you hear a person struck by lightning, very rare. It does happen, but you're very rare to hear that. It's normally people trying to cross rivers, going too far without the right kit, taking chances, pushing themselves too hard. All the simple things. You're out here in the Scottish Highlands, look at it. It's unforgiving. If this changes within the next hour, this is a totally different scene. And trust me, you'll be sitting here going, my God, I want to get home as soon as possible. I would be, as soon as I see bad weather hitting, I'll be looking for somewhere to pitch that's not going to flood, somewhere on a high rise there. I know I'm going to get buffeted by winds, but if I got a tent I can take, I don't care. And I'm going to pitch early. I'm going to get settled down. I'm going to get ready. Make sure the pegs have got rocks. If I've got rocks around, I'm going to batten down and ready. And if it just blows over and then it was nothing, I might look a fool, but at least I was ready for it. And probably I'd stay where I am because I'm comfy then, you know what I mean? But so many people go, no, I'll push on a little further. Oh, it'll be all right. You know, they excuse it. And that's when they get in trouble. But anyway, so Neil's on his hike. And I know people are going to say, well, he wouldn't have gone that far. Remember what the daughter said. He wanders for miles. He gets lost. He's done it so many times in the mornings. That's her words. So, wandering miles, mornings, and then you add in the things that, you know, he's left his porridge overnight. He still hasn't eaten it, so it shows he's gone out early before. And what he's probably done, he says, go for my walk, come back and eat my porridge. That all clicks now, doesn't it? It all makes sense. No need for a head torch, it's morning. No need for his poles, he's on the track. No need for waterproofs, it's not raining. But he doesn't know what's coming. And if he had been, or should I say, if they had been, because they were a team, if they'd been on top of things, they would have known, kept in update with weather. If you're going to come out here for multi-day hikes, if you've looked back in all my videos, I've always said, I need the Garmin, I need weather updates. I'm always out in the remote areas, I need to know. And I said, always say the same thing, you can't judge what the forecast is going to tell you, but you can get a feeling, kind of get a hunch that what might happen is going to happen. But it gives you a heads up, doesn't it? But as I say, yeah, remember them areas, them slopes, it floods really bad, trust me. If you've ever seen any of my old videos, especially further down here in the winter, these flood and they don't take long. All the water's coming off the top of the mountains, coming straight down. That's why you get the rivers going in spate so fast, because of the runoff from the sides of the mountains. Right, let's push on. More water running down, more channels, more ditches, more holes. And it's running down from, there's it, coming down the side. Now, that period before Neil went missing, the water would have been like this. Temperatures would have been very similar to what we got here. weather would have been exactly more or less the same. I've got the weather charts. It's about 16, 17, 18, it's probably 18 today. There would have been water because there weren't no dry spell. It would have been boggy just like it is now. There would have been pools everywhere. So there's already lying water in the ground. So if you get heavy rainfall, then it's just going to multiply that even more. Whereas when I was up here 4 weeks ago, if we had heavy rainfall, we might get flash flood in some places, but the land, most of the land would just soak it up like a sponge because it needed it. But no, these conditions are very similar to what Neil was hiking. Well, when I say hiking, they were out in this area before the weather changed, and it would have been similar to this. Same with the skies. I've seen the videos of West Highland Way, I've seen pictures, photos, everything. It's exactly like this. Same temps. See that breeze? I think we got a 10 mile. I think it's officially supposed to be 12. I would say it's between 8 and 10. Now we're getting that breeze. It'd be very similar again to what Neil was experiencing them days. So what you're seeing now is what Neil was having for them days before you went missing. So, you know, get that picture in your head so you don't think, oh, it was a heat wave, or, oh, you know, it was raining every now and then. They had no rain before. Everyone on the West Highland was saying what luck they were having. It was like this. They'd missed it before, but then all of a sudden it changed again. Right, a bit further. Done 4 miles, just under. Gotta stop it. Nine minutes past 2, pretty early. I was going to push down to, well, I wanted to be down the stream. You're probably getting some wind noise because I've got a lovely breeze here, it's really nice. But we've got water here. Look at this pit spot here. It's not wet, not boggy, nice and soft. Look at the views. I've always been interested in that valley. I know it's fenced off, but I don't believe Neil ended up there. But I want to do some searching along this river today, this afternoon. Again, running down, see there? Again, it looks very small on widescreen, but it's about, I'm trying to get it right. It's about like that. What I'm seeing, you're seeing now. To the naked eye. Yeah, that's about right. And there's this river running down, so we've got nice fresh water. Oops. And there's the valley in the distance. And that's what it looks like to us. So I've got to feed the dogs anyway. So I thought, if I stop to feed the dogs, and I want to take an adventure up here, hopefully instead of rest and stay in the tent. I'm just looking at the way the land lies, you see. I'm looking here. There's a lot I want to take in because I haven't been interested in it before. But it'll make sense when I add it all together in the videos to you. Right, let's feed the dogs, then I'll set the tent up. Tent's all set up. I've got water, a quick snack. Dogs have been fed. I want Stella to stay there. I want to go up this water course or whatever and check all the way up. But I don't want her to come in because it'll be a cross country, so I want her to stay there. Stay there, you. I'll have to probably chase her back twice. If she's got a brain in her head, she'll stay there. Rogue, you're working, unless Rebel's just the one working. I don't mind if she stays there. I need Rebel, he's the one with the nose. I've got binoculars because I want to observe down into the valley. And these binoculars are quite good, I've got to be honest. They're only small. I don't know if you can see them. Only small. I got some really expensive ones. Some of the best ones they are for the size. I can't remember the name now. Oh dear. If I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. And I took them out and I tried these little ones that are Viking something. I don't know what they are. 8 by something. 8 by 25 something they are. And I was surprised how good these little ones compared to some binoculars of £600-700. And I was like, can I quantify the price? You know what I mean? Can I, say it's worth it, the big ones? And I had to be honest. And yes, they were slightly better. Behave you. Yes. I don't know what she's at. There's nothing around for miles. Probably a deer barking or that. Rogue, behave. And Rogue, it's not your camp, it's mine. And yeah, and it was Japanese glass, the best ever, and but as I was saying, yeah, zoomed in, and if you compare the two, you could see, a slight difference. But these I think I got years ago for like £20. The ones I bought that I thought would be brilliant were about £600 and something and massive and way heavy. And I thought I was doing a good thing. Rogue, leave it. I thought I was doing something good, and I don't know what's the matter with her. She's up on her checking something out. Weird dog. Not right in the yard. So yeah, that was the binoculars. I've got the thing charging because look, the sun's breaking. I want the phone to charge, but I'll have to wait till I get back because I'm going to need that to video what we're doing. Right, I'm staying. Rogue, Stella's staying there. You two are coming with me. What a lovely place to pitch. There's one or two things. Someone's camped here, or some deer have been lying here. Deer have been lying here, it'll be full of ticks. Isn't that beautiful, eh? Stella stayed in a tent. Tent is... Look at it, blends in well, doesn't it? The reason she stayed in this time is because the last week, as I said, because it's been too hot, I've been leaving at home and I've been telling her to stay at home. So she's now getting used to being left in the afternoon when it's hottest. So it's paying off. She's not doing too much work and I'm getting to explore and play around. So we've only done 4 miles so far, but when I was hiking around here and exploring and searching, we'll get the miles in while Stella's not putting too much in. There's the track going down. That's it. Going all the way down. Then it goes through that maze down there. Just, where's my finger? There, above that maze. There's a lot of slabs there, and what happens, the water runs off the slabs down into the river. And the river from the loch, whoops, zoom in. There's the little lochs, because it runs like from Loch Dochard to the little lochs, and then down here, see it, and down all the way along. You probably just make it out. There it is. And then there's another one that runs down from that valley up there. You see it running down the valley? All the way from up there. As I say, that joins about there, somewhere around there. So in the end you have 2 lots of rivers hitting that river crossing, what I'm on about, which is a little bit further down. I'll show you in a bit. If I get over there, if not I'll show you tomorrow. But there's a hell of a lot of water converging and coming off the slopes as well. Beautiful afternoon for hiking and exploring. So, zigzags, let Rebel go in front. I was just looking at the official search map. Mount Rescue did this, but it's quite a wide area, isn't it? Reason I'm doing it, I probably will explain better in more detail in a full video about what I believe happened. But the river crossing down there was really low when I crossed it, and I thought, what a great place to pitch. And I was looking around, I thought, really wide rivers here, but they're dry. I thought, wonder what they're like when they flood. And then I thought, what if Neil went for a walk down there? And then I thought, no, it's stupid, isn't it? But it's only 1 hour 10 minutes down to the crossing, and that was me carrying a 66-pound pack on the day, and I was going nice and slow taking video, but still carrying a heavy pack in hot temperatures. I think they were in mid-20s, probably a bit higher. So Neil's known to wander, so I thought, what happens if he's crossed that river crossing heading towards Glen Kinglass, because he wanders for miles. That's his daughter's description. He often gets carried away, she said. And she said something like he'd be miles and miles away, you know what I mean? So I think he's on a track, it's cold, chilly. It's probably his last day, he's probably going back in the afternoon. He's got to make it back to the car to meet his two friends. I thought, what happens if he's gone past that river crossing? Then it started raining, and he's thinking, well, there's no shelter where I've just been, so I'll just go a little further where there's some trees or something. And when he gets just 20 minutes extra, which is an hour and a half from where that he was supposed to have turned round in the original story, well, you can see Glen Kinglass Lodge and the trees on both sides. So I thought, I wonder if he went, I'll just take shelter because the rain's getting heavy. And by taking shelter, he didn't realise he was cutting himself off, because when he got back to the river after sitting under the trees and realising this is in for the day, he's come back. He's not wearing shoes like me, boots like me. I got boots about 14 inches high. He's probably got normal boots. And the river, it's not in spate, but it's much, much higher. And he can't get across because he's only got normal boots. And he realised he's going to get soaked. And the river's probably flowing quite fast as well, even though it's not too deep. And I've been in 12 inches of water, and I tell you, you can feel the power of it. So I wonder, what made it even worse is the sign saying bridge. So I wonder if he saw that sign saying bridge and crossed the bridge, that would bring him onto this side. But the problem is, he's got to find the track then. Where the bridge is crossing, on the map there's two markings for bridges. The first one I found out is a long time washed away. The second one's further downstream, but that pushes you even further out of the way. So that's what I want to do. I want to have a look and see if I can spot the bridge from here. I also wanted to stop here so I can check around, search around, let the dogs have free run. They'll pick anything, look at them. That's what I want them to do, because even though they're playing now, they'll soon get their noses down, especially Rebel. Once he picks something up. And if it comes to skeletons, he'll pick anything up. And I don't mean that in the bad way, he's just, any bones, he'll find them. Right. It's a lovely day for searching, I must admit. Nice breeze. Stella's resting, so I haven't got to worry about her. Can't even see the tent now, so I'm lost now. But you see what I mean? I got Garmin in reach on me, and got the two mutts, and I got my phone. I mean, you can only get lost if the fog came in here and you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. But in Neil's case, going back to Neil, once he crosses that river, he's got no sense of direction. That's his daughter again. So to find that track, you might think he's going one way. He could be going completely the opposite way that he thinks. The rain would be hitting him from this. The rain would be coming from the southwest, at least a southerly. So as he's coming up, it'll probably be hitting him side on. And don't forget, in heavy rain out here, look at it. You get soaked and drenched in minutes. I mean, literally drenched. So my theory is he's walked over the river crossing because it's nice and low and he can just make it. He's got a bit carried away, but he's exploring. Then another 20 minutes on, the rain is kicked in really bad. He realises he's stuck out in the open. He's just come down from up here. He knows there's no shelter up here. So he sees trees. And what did I do? I saw trees and I headed for the shelter last time for the dogs. And I think he's done exactly the same, but for rain. But where we can sit in there in the shelter, we had everything with us. He has waited and waited and then realised, hold on, this ain't going to stop. And then he's trying to get across the river, he can't get across the river. And then seen the bridge sign on the way down or on the way back, because I saw it on the way down. And he thought, I'll go over the bridge, no problem. But the bridge, the original one, went like that down alongside the river. The other one goes that way. So once he gets over that bridge, if it's still there, they originally, as I say, the original one got washed away, then they put up another one, but I don't know if the other one's still up. So that's why I'm trying to see from a height. See? Always better to my Magnus. Right, I'll stop you here before I ramble on too much. I don't know if you'll make the track out. It's very faint. I can't put my finger. There it is. It goes there. Oh, you're going to lose it. If I move slowly, you might just pick out the track. And what it does, see there, it leads to the river crossing dead centre, and there's that river crossing. That's nice and low because there's no heavy rain. But there's more water there than there was when I crossed it, and that was a little while ago. But this floods, this crossing floods. And how do I know that? Because I've got reports of it flooding on people that have hiked along this route when it's been raining in the morning and they've reached it in lunchtime and they had to use a bridge. Now there used to be a bridge, I don't know if I can find it, I think it's somewhere around there used to be a bridge, but it was a wire one. So there's the track, and then see that dirty marks? I think there was a bridge that used to go along the bottom, lower end of that river crossing. And then that would bring you out on this side of the bank, and you'd pick up the track when you get past that, behind that hollow there, and you'd pick up the track, easy. But that got washed away years ago. So the bridge was somewhere there, I believe. I haven't seen it, I'm going to go down and check it tomorrow. So I thought, I wonder if he saw a bridge sign and went backwards. That's rocks. I was just looking. But anyway, I have found the bridge. It's reflecting in. I've got to find it now, because I'm zoomed in. There it is. Oh no, I've lost it. Hold on. Yeah, you've got to bear with me on this. Where am I looking now? There it is. I didn't go long enough. There it is. Look at the bridge. A nice sturdy bridge. So, and it leads down from the track. So, if Neil went along, he came from Glenkinglass, which will be down here. Sorry if you're getting really crazy eyes. He's double back. And he's probably to a shelter down there, Glenkinglass, which is, there's some trees down there. I reckon he made it that far. Because he wanders for miles. He's come up the track, along the track, no need for a bridge. come all the way down, hit the river crossing that he hit earlier, and oh boy, the river crossing's bad. So what am I going to do? There's one there, and then there's the big one there, and that's because they had really heavy rain. And I don't mean just really heavy rain, I mean heavy rain. I'll show you. I got the luckily a friend on YouTube sent me some details. It's got the flow charts, river charts, how much rain fell that day, everything. Anyway, so then he's doubled back after seeing the sign, come down that dirt track over the bridge. He's thinking, well, there's no problem there, but the bridge faces, where's my hand, sorry, the bridge faces away from the track. It does the very thing he doesn't want it to do. It faces away. It should be facing this way if it's, but he's probably got disorientated. Now that means he could have gone anywhere down there. So I've got to kind of retrace his steps when I'm down there, if I can. So that's a job for tomorrow. So, and the search team, the official search team, ended their search at the river crossing. They didn't go beyond. So they haven't been down anywhere down along here. They haven't been any over that land over there. They haven't been up the gully there. They haven't been anywhere. And I've got the official maps. And the thing is, that I don't know if you're getting a very good view of this. I have to probably take some photos. The search narrows down there. So I doubt if they even covered up here, where I am now. But I'm telling you, I am almost sure that's what's happened. It's gone across. The rain came down heavy. He took shelter down the tree. He wanted to probably get on that side, but he couldn't because the river would be higher and get higher. So he's gone down, took shelter like we did. We took shelter for the shade, for the dogs, but he took shelter down there from the rain because he's only got his drover coat, I believe. And if that's true, by the time he's got back up here, he's absolutely drenched. Then he's seen the river and he's going, my God, I can't cross that. It's not in the sense, I mean, look, you've got rapids and everything up there, all coming down from the, you got the river coming from up there. You've got the river coming from this side of the slopes, all running down. There's all kind of runoffs, and you've got the river coming down from the loch, and then adding all the kind of runoff from the all the slopes. That would flood really quick. That's why it's so wide, and that's why they had an original river crossing bridge there, because it was known to flood. But over the years, even the bridge got washed away, so it shows how bad it is. But I've got reports, and I'll try and put them on the screen, that people, if you follow the links, people have been hiking down it from where we left the other day, from where we left this morning, more or less, from the plantation, where it's been pouring down when they crossed there. You know, the suspension bridge near the plantation where I pitch. They've left there in the morning in heavy rain, and by the time they got here they couldn't cross it, and they said it was some of the worst conditions they've known in the Highlands. So this area must really flood bad, and there you've got some really big waterfalls there. But I'm telling you, he's crossed that bridge. He thought he was doing the right thing. It's exactly what you would do. The river's getting too bad. You've seen a sign saying bridge, you cross the bridge. But once he's got over there, once he's got over this area, he's completely lost. He's got no map, no compass. It's dull, it's gloomy, it's freezing, he's soaked. Then there's a river down there that will probably be bad. So I've got to see what he would have done. But he's definitely come over that bridge, because he went on his wander and he did the right thing again, staying down Glen Kinglass, because he thought it would blow over. But he didn't realise it was in full down. So the longer he was down at Glen Kinglass, the higher the water was getting. The water was getting up here. And then that would take him about another hour to get back here. And by that time, you're talking about nearly 2.5 hours. At least 2.5 hours for the river to rise. And as I say, some of the bad ones can rise 6 feet. I'm not saying this would rise 6 feet, but I reckon this would be a good 12-18 inches high and flowing quite fast. And I reckon that would put anyone off. Sorry, you're not zoomed in. They have not allowed one bridge to be washed away to replace and put a better one in, if there was no reason to do it. And there's an actual sign that I'll show you tomorrow, showing bridge sign. Big problem is, I won't know until I see the lay of the land. Once he's over there, as I say, he thinks the bridge is facing this way because he's been disorientated. It curls in a U and faces that way, faces away. So he knows he has to follow the river, but it's probably boggy down there. So he's getting his feet stuck in bog and everything. So he's thinking, get up higher and he'll be out of the wet. But when he's took his direction, he's probably thinking, when he gets over that bridge, he's supposed to kind of veer left. And if he ain't following the river up, he's got to come up here, you know what I mean? And then in the end, you'll pick up the track going up. But he's probably veered completely off and got disorientated. But then he could have done anything. But my biggest worry is, which I saw on the maps, is it's all high around here. I'll try and zoom you out. All high. So I don't think he went up. But immediately in front of that bridge, and if he did get lost and start disoriented wrong, he could have gone over that brow there. And that leads into another valley around the back. But that's my biggest fear. You know, me or anyone else, if we were stuck in a situation, would go over that bridge and would follow the river up. Now, if the ground on this side of the river was so saturated and boggy, and it's such a mess that he was getting stuck, or I was getting stuck, you'd use a compass, or you'd use a map, you'd use, GPS in your watch or something, and just take a direction. And then you try and get up high and head to that direction you need to go. But he's got none of them devices. He's got no compass, no map, nothing. So he's now in heavy rain, in the gloom, in the mist, and the clag will be coming down all around these hills. He's getting saturated. He's already walked an hour up, probably. He's got soaked to the skin already. He's probably in the early stages of hypothermia. So, he's going to make mistakes. His judgment's going to be completely wrong. And it's all because of 2 river crossings. Unbelievable. We've all been searching over that end when we should have been searching down this end. And that's why no dogs, no helicopter. And the thing is, if he ended up in the river, which I don't think he has, he would have ended up at Loch Etiv, not Loch Dochard, because all the water flows down to Loch Etiv. So we've all been wasting, well, no one's wasted time, but we've all put in so much effort in the wrong areas. Out of the wind now. So, how do I know the 2 friends didn't originally go down past Glen Kinglass and wherever they were going? Simple. They were further than Neil. If Neil turned back probably just short of Glen Kinglass Lodge. They would have carried on for maybe another hour. They would have been a lot further That meant they would have took a lot more time to get back once it started raining. So it started raining. They said, their story is, it started raining, so we turned round. We had enough, you know, we decided to pack up and go back. So they've done that. It's taken them probably 3 hours to get to this river crossing. The water's even higher. So they would have had to use the bridge. And if they used the bridge, they would have had to slog through all the bogs and marsh in heavy rain. And did they say anything to Mountain Rescue about the conditions? How they had to cross a bridge? I bet they didn't. You know why? Because they never went down there. They never crossed a bridge. They never hit these river crossings in high flow. If they did, this would be the first thing they're telling everyone. The most dangerous point on all this route, right, from all the way from Victoria Bridge down to Glenkinglas, is that river crossing there. But it was not mentioned in any reports. Oh, the two friends slogged through the rain and through the marshes and over a bridge because the river crossing side, never nothing there. And that's why they haven't talked to anyone, because they know, anyone that knows the area, anyone that's done this, someone like myself now, I'd say to them, so how did you get up? Did you cross the bridge? They've got to say, yeah. They can't say no, because they know that river crossing is too high. So I say, where did you go from there? And they don't know the lay of the land. It's like me. Until a minute ago, I didn't know the lay of the land. You can't make a story up, can you? So they would have fell short. So I now know they never went down this way at all. No, neither did Neil. So all the story about that Saturday, that kind of Neil turned around when he was probably somewhere about just past them waterfalls. No, that's hour and a half, about down there. I timed it myself. Going with a 66-pound pack, an old dog of 15, in temperatures of 28 degrees. I took my time, and I know where the 1.5 hours is. And if you go a little bit further, you can see Glenkinglas Lodge and the trees. So you're telling me Neil decided, going by their story, the day before, on the Saturday, didn't feel well, he went all the way back up to Loch Dochard when he could see Glenkinglas Lodge and shore rest and green grass and everything for his pitching his tent. Nah, didn't happen. I'm sorry, didn't happen. None of that happened. I always knew it. And the bridge is giving me the 100% proof. And as I say, I've got reports of this river crossing, how bad it is, how dangerous it is in high, heavy rainfall, and exactly what they had on the 9th, heavy rainfall. That the worst rainfall for that period of time. I've got the charts, I'll put them up on the screen, you'll see it for yourself. Right. Going to do a big U right round, just in case, you never know, but that top end has been searched, so nothing down here has been searched. So I'm going to go down to the crossing, take better pictures, take a photo of the bridge sign, and then get across this bridge and take good photos and all that, so that we've got it for the record, and then just see what awaits on the other side from that angle. See what the ground is like around this side of the bank. Right. Did a big arc around there, right from beyond there. Now we're heading in the right direction, but it's amazing how your brain plays tricks, because I'm sitting there walking along going, oh, it's just over this one, I'll see the tent. No. Then I didn't realise how far we had travelled. Then you get the next one, you go, no, I still can't see it. But I know I can look to see my bearings down there on the track. I'm not lost as such because I know where I'm going, you know what I mean? But it's just, you imagine in Neil's case where he's trying to get back to his tent, that's at a loch that he can't sight. Clouds come in and it's pouring heavy and everything's probably looking a right mess. And he can't work out where he's going. So he might be thinking he's going this direction. He could be literally going that direction. It's very easy. Once you turn around a couple of times and spin round, you're going totally the opposite direction you should be going. Luckily, I'm not, you know, I've got plenty of experience. I use the lochs, use the river, use the mountains, you know. But Neil ain't thinking like that. And if the clouds come in, that reduces a lot of the things he can see anyway. So you might not be able to see the loch over there, might not be able to see these mountains. It might be very dull, gloomy. Or you might be worried about is he might have fell over 3 or 4 times, so you might be worried about his bruised knee or his wet feet, or your brain starts malfunctioning in the wrong way. It's not, he's done nothing wrong, it's just he's now out in, once he came over that bridge, he's out in no man's land. And unless you know what you're doing, this is what I'm saying to people, you've got to know what you're doing. So I'm sure people want to help search in their own time. Please, please, please be careful. If you go over that bridge, you're then going into an open area that really opens up and gets, there's holes, there's springs, there's rocks, there's gullies, I mean, there's a lot of hidden ground. Make sure you got a map, compass, GPS, a Garmin, something like that. Just take care, people. Don't do anything stupid, please, and don't go out if the weather's going to be rough, because otherwise you could end up doing exactly the same thing as Neil, getting stuck, cut off by a river. So think, and if you are going to do it, try and do it in pairs at least. You know what I mean? It's all right for me. I've got the dogs. I could say to the dogs now, take me back to the tent, and trust me, they'll lead. Instead they do it. Rebel, go and find tent. Go and find tent. Look. They will. If I keep telling them to go find, they'll keep going. They'll go to. I'll just follow them. Right. Let's see. I'll follow them. I won't do anything myself. Let's see if they do. No, I'm just following them. Don't know where they're taking me. So if they get me lost, it's their fault, not mine. I've got to watch out for holes while I'm filming. Go on in! Find it! Find it! It isn't that way, Rebel. I know that much. No! Find the tent! Go on! Yeah, he's probably taking me around the route. Trip. Useless dog. I think Rogue is better for the tent than Rebel. Look, she's looking, see? Go on in! He diverts her because he goes sniffing for things. I'm miles away. What have I done? How far? Oh, I was like, how far have I gone? I knew I went away. So, I'm not going to pretend I know where the tent is. Let's see if they take me. I'm going to have to turn it off for a minute. See what Rogue's doing? She's scenting backwards. She's tracking backwards. I was just watching her a minute ago. She's nose to the ground. Look. Rebel, your head. Go on in. Too busy scenting. Go, 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 go. Look. She's better for that. She's better for the tent. Look, now he's dragged her over for the water. Oh God. I give up. But trust me, Stella used to be brilliant. Bad weather or not, I'd say go find tent. She did one once in the Peak District, took me to an area that we'd pitched 6 weeks earlier, and there was no tent down. I said, no, not that one. Now today's tent, and off she went, and lo and behold, she took us in through the dunes and all that, and we ended up back at the tent. That was my fault that time. I went down a gruff for water at dusk, and by the time I'd done the water it was dark, and I came up with no head torch or anything. And a mistake you make, silly sometimes, silly mistakes, very silly. Right, we're going to follow this track because it's going to lead me to the track. But look, she's still going the right way. They're having fun, ain't they? Yeah, Rogue's better for the tent. She keeps checking, look. She keeps going, are you coming or what? This is where we came up the tracks. I saw a vehicle been up, so I thought I'd use that because I knew the ground would be flat. I'm not going to go off. Bitches are normally good for that kind of thing. The boys, they're more interested in food, hence the bones and things like that. Look, she knows what she's going off. She goes, look. She'll get faster and faster as she gets near to the tent. Cross country. There she goes. I'm following the bog. She knows where the tent is, look. It keeps checking around to me. Rebel is more interested in other things. She'll be at the tent before I even get to this stream here. Bless her. It's Rebel distracting her. So, now you see the method in my madness of pitching up here. I wanted the high spot. 1, stop midges tomorrow morning. 2, get a nice breeze for this evening's meal, which I'm going to have in a minute. 3, for the lovely scenery. But 4, I wanted to get a good view of that river and the possibility of a bridge. Now I found the bridge, so I know what I'm looking for. Now if I'd gone down to the river, yeah, I've been searching, but then I would have wasted more time looking for it, and then I would have had to find a nice pitch spot. And I'm glad I did a bit of searching up here. I wasn't too interested in this area here. It's been all searched by MRT teams, mountain rescue teams. I'm more interested from that bridge onwards, because, as I say, he might have gone completely the opposite direction we think. Could have gone away from us, seeking shelter, something like that. That's what I would do if I was in his case and lost. You try and hope for something to go right for you. I've got to watch out this hole here. And sadly it didn't. Right, I'm going to put you away because I don't want to fall in a hole.